Rapper, singer, producer, entrepreneur, and a really impressive performer. We're gonna get into all the things that this woman encompasses. If you don't know, you gotta get on the bandwagon.
I'm Danielle Black, and I created a YouTube series for kids. Best friend. Oh, you thought I was finished? You thought I was kidding? Some songs I be spitting, money songs I be singing. Now, follow my lead. I aim to please. So I went to culinary school, and I always, wanted to have my own business or a bakery or something like that. And I did a few things. I did have a baking business.
Wow.
And I was becoming successful at it. And at the same time, I didn't want to let go of my artistry or me wanting to be an artist and, record music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I kind of intertwined music and food. And I started to rap recipes and come up with different ideas of how to put that recipe together, different concepts and things like that. Because if you think about it, you can't just rap how to put the recipe together. You kind of need to fill it in with other words and ideas and make it fun and cool. And so I started to do that, and basically I taught myself how to rap and rhyme through doing that. So I took old school hip hop beats and would just do that and kind of stayed within the rhythm and things like that. And then that's how I started to rap about my own life. And, there was other people around me that were like, no, you're more of a singer, you're not a rapper, and this and that and blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, no, there's something to it. I love it. I'm a big hip hop fan. I have some swag to me. So I kind of want to tap into that. And so that's what I did. And, in the beginning, I wanted to gear it towards kids, but it kind of just stuck with me and rapping and me putting it out there. And, I started to build that as on the side of Danielle Black. And then I got onto the radio with Danielle Black. And so my team at the time was just let's take a step back from Musical Shuffy and kind of just stick with what's working right now, even though Musical Shuffy's building. I mean, I've gone to weddings and people are like, when is Musical Shuffy coming back? And I'm like, wow, people really dig this stuff.
No,
so,
it is. It's really fucking cool.
Yeah,
it really is.
So, with all of that, I mean, that's just, how I started Musical Shuffy, and then I took a step back, and then when it was time, I started to rebrand, and now we're gonna, have a section for kids and, come out in a brand new way, and we redid all of the beats, and, so we're gonna be launching soon.
No, that's awesome, because I kind of wanted to get into music for children too. It's a really good space to be in, because as a conscious artist, you're thinking about the next generation and what other people could listen to. So it's really awesome. But
thank you.
I noted that you said that people, take a sip. I just noted that you said when, you were first starting to rap that, some people were saying, oh no, you're more of this, you're more of a singer. I'm just would people say that straight to your face?
Yeah.
And they
were, I've heard it all.
But then how do you respond to that?
I kind of just let it go, because
wow,
it's I'll have something to say about it, but not in a negative way. It's kind of just noted, that's where this person's head is at in the sense of how they view me. Or they might be in that genre and they're they just have their own opinion and they're entitled to it.
Yeah.
It's really about what I want and what I feel, and maybe they think that because I'm not the best right now or I'm still growing, but I can see the future for myself than anyone else can.
Just so incredible to have that skill that's really necessary. But
you need to have thick skin in this business.
No, it's really.
And I'm not going to take constructive criticism from just anybody. Their opinion did matter, the person who said it. But I'm going to take constructive criticism from somebody that's in the business, that whatever, I'm going to listen to them. Yeah. Also with a grain of salt, because, you never know.
Everything.
But at the same time, I'm not going to listen to somebody like my neighbor who clocks in and clocks out, has never done anything in their life, knows nothing about what I'm doing because they have an opinion or view. And it's like, I've gotten comments like, oh, it's too hard, it's too much, just do this, just do that. And I'm like, that's because either you're coming from a jealous, envious point of view because you didn't tap in or didn't do the things that you wanted to do, or took the time and energy, you just settled. I'm not like that. So it is what it is. I'm gonna listen to them to a certain point and come from an understanding of where they are in life.
So if someone would say that to you, just if they said that to you, you would just be like, yeah, that's cool.
Well, when you're in the beginning stages, some people are like very like, oh, well, whatever, they're not a Rihanna or they're not this or
people
they're
are
not
so
that.
quick to discredit.
Right, and it's just like, it is what it is, and they're entitled to it. And I'm not the artist that I was when I first started. You know what I mean? There has been progression. Maybe I wasn't the best at that time, or it was very slow starting. So it is what it is.
I love that. Sometimes I struggle with that, but just...
Oh, and you have to go through the process.
Right. I respect that. Thanks for that.
You have to go through the process. You have to go through people that you think that are going to support you, that don't. It's always the ones that are closest to you. Your biggest fans are people you've never met before. People that are looking at you.
I am one of your biggest fans. No, I just really want to say that I really admire you. And me and my mom, we was looking into. She's like, yo, this is someone you have to know. Like, you have to emulate
I just got chills again.
No, I'm really serious, and I'm so glad to be surrounded by you. And I just really see what you're doing. And just thanks for being here again, for real.
Thank you.
So, and thanks, we went on a little tangent there because I'm going to always, I'm sure there's going to be so much shit, so I got to keep a pencil with me, for real.
Do what you got to do.
So, in asking you that first question, is that kind of how your musical journey started? Because I know in one of your songs you said you've been knowing what you want to do since 4, so music has always been around you, right?
Oh yeah, I grew up with it in my house. My parents were always blasting music. I mean, we'd go, I'm going to date myself, we would go to Tower Records, The Wiz, wherever. We would go and buy CDs, and I'd be there looking through sometimes records. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I came from a time period of you'd pop the 8-track into the Cadillac or the Plymouth.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? And we used to do this. So music's always been a thing for me, but I think just as I started getting older, I was like, if no one's going to help me or guide me, my parents got divorced at a young age. I pretty much, was just growing up by myself. And so, there wasn't anybody there when I came home from school. So it's well, I want to do this and I want to do that. And so, I didn't have someone that, a momager or, a dadager to, really be you're talented in this and you could do this and you could do that. So I just started doing it by myself. And I was working at a catering hall. And there was this guy there, and he played the guitar, was in a band. I would support him. I would go and watch or whatever. And I was like, I started writing, and I really want to, I have this melody, and I want to record a song, and I don't know where to go, where to start. And I was so nervous. I was so afraid because, it's nerve-wracking. It's different when you're singing by yourself or whatever. And then you got to go, and you have all these people around you, and they're, hit and record or whatever. So I recorded that one song, and then I put it out on YouTube, and nothing really came of it. It is what it is, and I really had no idea what I was doing. So I finished school, I did whatever. I started a business, and then, like I said, I started to rap recipes, and that was it. From there, then I started writing, and I started developing, and that's when I was with Lee. It all really began with him.
Wow. So where did you meet him?
So it's a really funny story. I recorded a few covers. I did a few showcases before I met him, and I did a cover with somebody. And it was really funny because my girlfriend had a friend, and she was working in a restaurant in White Plains, I think. And Lee and his partner at the time were eating, and she was a beautiful girl. And he asked her if she sang, and she was like, no, but I know somebody who does. And so she texted me right then and there and was like, hi, can I connect you with this producer guy who's looking for a female artist? And that's where it started. And I've been with him for 15 years.
Oh my, and that really shows honestly what kind of artist you are and what kind of person you are, that you can maintain a relationship with a producer for that long. It just,
Yeah. I mean, we were on and off at times because times just
of course,
do that. I've worked
of
with other
course.
producers. I developed with other producers, but he is
Yeah.
my main guy. He's my
Yeah.
family. He is, my ride or die, has always believed in me, and we just have a special bond, and that's super important.
And it's amazing that it always kind of just happens like that. You kind of know someone who knows something, and things seem to just kind of.
Yeah, I think truly believe that sometimes you have to put one foot in front of the other. You have to make the moves, and then sometimes you just have to understand and know that maybe sometimes you need to have a step back and let God, the universe, just have a part in it and connect the dots for you. You have to do the work, but things are going to play out and conform around you and make it valid that, okay, I am supposed to be doing this because I'm connecting to it, and I'm attracting it, and it's coming into my lane. So go with it.
I love that balance, because through your lyrics you can tell you're a spiritual person, but it's just what you said. It's like that balance in getting what you want. Of you can't just, like, you do have to put in work. It's not just all luck.
Yeah.
It's not just all luck.
Yeah, and I think when you're trying to force something, or because it's not working, and you get angry, you get frustrated, and then you make decisions off of anxiety or fear because you want it so bad, it can kind of work against you. 100%. And I've been there a million
times.
Wanting
things too bad, right? Like wanting things, like you have to know, like, oh, if this happens or not, I'm gonna be good.
Right.
I've been stuck in a place where I've wanted something so bad. I'm like, oh, I worked so hard to get it, but it's like, but then you need that backspace too.
Yeah, over time I've understood why things didn't pan out or work out in the way that they did. And it's because even though I wanted it so bad, deep down inside I really truly wasn't ready to fully hone in on it. And like God knows, if I'm willing to, we're going to be able to handle it. And I think at that time I wouldn't have been able to handle it, and if I got it I probably would have lost it.
I feel that we're given things when we're ready and when the time's right.
Right.
For sure.
And I was given things, but it was a little bit of a test. I'm a huge giver. If someone gave me $1 million 10 years ago, it would be good. I'd be like, guys, you need your credit cards paid off? I got you. And those are the people that are like probably not even going to stand by you.
Oh, my God. I'm the same way, girl. I'm the same way. And we end up hurting ourselves that way. And we got to learn.
And then I learned to, barter and work with people. What can I do for you?
Yes.
What can you do for me? And it needs to be, even.
Yes.
It needs to be a win-win. I've had people like, no, don't worry about crediting me or whatever. I was like, the day I go viral or something happens, you're going to be like, oh, I wish I did this, I wish I did that. Just accept it. You did the work. You deserve to get paid. 100%. That's it.
Sometimes I do notice that artists will sometimes undersell ourselves, and even if we're being offered something, it'll be hard for us to accept that. But it is. But we gotta know our worth, and it's okay to accept blessings.
Exactly.
And I 100%. Noticed in what you said before about just a little bit about your background and not really having the musical guidance. But it's incredible how successful you've been, being that you're self-made.
I self-taught myself how to rap, how to write, kind of just like learning my own vocal tone and stuff like that. I mean, I worked with, many singing coaches and stuff like that and whatnot. I've had some support. But really, predominantly, I did it myself.
Yeah. No, that independent work, even if you have a vocal coach, you can have the best vocal coach in the world, see them once a week. If you're not doing the independent work, and there's always an element, because you can bring a horse to water and they won't, maybe not drink it. There's always an element of that, but it's just
and also working with people that kind of helps you to get it out of you, because anybody can be a coach.
Yeah.
But if you don't blend well, or the energy's not there, the vibe's not there.
100%.
Like I've worked with producers that I'm like, I don't want to work with them. I'm not the same artist in the booth that I am with maybe somebody else. You know, I'm working with, you know, another producer, and they hit the play button, and I'm like somebody I wasn't the other day working with somebody. So it's all about who you surround yourself, the comfortability, and, you know, you should be able to be around people where they make you feel comfortable and bring the best out of you.
And if it's just not the best, know when to walk away.
Right.
Yeah. Which can be hard sometimes, but you'll never like regret standing up for yourself, I feel like.
No.
Yeah. So directly, what do you think it takes to be self-made, and what's like the difference between you, a person who didn't have that strong guidance, someone literally managing you, like some other examples of people who had successes? What has made you been able to persevere and become successful versus someone who maybe would just, it's too hard and they would quit?
It's honestly learning to accept failure, because you have to fail. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's just, you know, comes easy and it works, you know what I mean, which is a beautiful thing. But if you the only way to understand on how to not give up is to literally keep going when you fail, when you fall, because it's just learning, and it's a lesson. And it's the only thing that's going to show you what doesn't work, so you can focus more on what does work.
Do you think in a way that not having that, because my parents were divorced too, like, do you think in a way that having that happen in a way gave you that first start to be resilient and to accept that in a weird way, that it's like, I hate to say that it was a positive thing, but there could be little,
well, with every
glimmers.
negative there's a positive.
So yeah, what's up? Yeah.
1000%. I think that if I had, because I was very much protected, you know, I'm half Puerto Rican, half Italian, but I mostly lived with my father most of my life, and I was very much, you know, over, you know, protected, and just like, you know, don't do this and don't do that, and no, kind of like, you know, kind of scared about doing things. But because I was alone so much, it built up this like fight in me that like I can take on anything. Like I, you know, didn't have the guidance, didn't do whatever. And because I learned everything myself, I can literally do anything myself. You know, I know that I have to depend on people. I know that I have to accept the support. I know that I need a team. I can't do everything myself. But it's also very hard because I can do everything myself if I wanted to. But to make it work, you know, the best boss is someone who can actually delegate and be, you know, manage everything and know where everyone has their place and what part do they fit best and how is it going to make it work. And I think that because I grew up by myself, I've become such an amazing problem solver that like it's also helped me to help other people, because I'm like, no, like I find the problem right away, and I'm like, no, you could do this in X, Y, and Z. Like, I was living alone, well, by myself. I didn't have a boyfriend. My father wasn't around at the time, and I'm like, I want to hang up this shelf, and I don't want to wait a whole year for somebody to come over, and I don't have the money to pay, you know, a handyman to come and put up this shelf. So you know what I did? I went on YouTube. I figured out how to put an anchor in the freaking wall, and I did it. And now my girlfriends are asking me, instead of their husbands, how to put a shelf up in the wall. I mean, I'm hanging up mirrors, picture for, like, you know, people are asking me to put up closets, and everyone's like, you should go work at Home Depot. And I'm like, no, not me.
You don't got the time for that.
No.
But I love that. I love that shit. Like,
where there's a will, there's a way. You know, if someone can't help you with something, try to figure it out yourself and just go with it.
I love a fucking strong, independent woman who can do shit themselves. I hate to bring up, like, because I don't know about bringing up stuff about, like, gender inequalities. I don't want to perpetuate anything and make it a thing, but I'm just curious if you being a woman if that had any effect on your musical journey at all.
Oh, 1000%. You know, many people have told me or said to me, like, how come you haven't like, you have it. Like, what is this? And I'm like, because I won't give up my hoo-ha. And I'm not
so glad
using
you
my
talked about
mouth
that.
to do anything. I've had men that are like, come into my car, I want to show you some beats. I'm like, nah, bring me to your office. I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? And I don't need to get anywhere quickly because of whatever. I know who I am. I know what I bring to the table. I know what type of artist that I am. And I think that, and I'm not here to sell my soul. And I know that if it's meant for me, which it is, and that it's going to happen, God will provide a way, and I will make it there. I can't sit here and be an inspiration or want to help others and guide others knowing that I got somewhere off of my sex.
It is so crazy, and I'm so glad you spoke open and honestly about that, because it's not the first thing everyone will say, but it's one of the most important things that needs to be talked about. And it's not, I've took like little classes about how, like, being a woman and how to navigate that, but it's not a popular topic to talk about that, about sex, and men will try to take advantage of you in that way. And you have to know how to say no, and you have to not be afraid to make other people uncomfortable when you're being made uncomfortable. It's a really hard skill to develop, and that's why women get in situations where they're taken advantage of. And
Yeah, and I mean, I've been in situations where, people do try to take advantage of me. And sometimes, you got to play the game. Sometimes you want to make them think that they're going to get something, but they're not, because you're trying to fish things out. And you're like, yo, he thinks he's playing me, but I'm going to be playing him, and I'm going to see where this goes, and then I can just dip out. You know what I mean? And I've been in situations where men have put their hands on me. They've pushed me. I am not, a closed book. Like, I've been in many situations where it was not okay. And, that also comes into play with, everything that I do and how I roll and how I've grown. Because there was times where I was, weak, and I didn't say anything, or I didn't, I just let things go. And that really boiled up inside of me, and that's where the anger and the rage comes, and everything like that. And sometimes people don't even know what the hell you're going through, because I do put on such a poker face, and I do put on such a strong front and confidence and whatever, and they have no idea deep down inside I'm like this little insecure little girl where it's like,
would never know.
Someone hug me.
Yeah. No, but I really appreciate you sharing your stories on that, because it's not just about people making little comments here and there, or someone thinking that your boyfriend does your beats for you. It's like,
right,
there's really serious situations that women really have to be careful, because it's like they'll call you out your name. You just never be afraid to, if someone making you uncomfortable, like, make them uncomfortable back. Like,
right.
But it's something you said, like, that after a while, if so much happens to you, you're just going to get to a point where you're going to have no tolerance for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so many, like, an artist wanted to work with me. It was like a year ago, and like at the same time he's like trying to ask me out. I was like, yo, dude, I don't date artists that I work with.
Right.
I don't date anyone that I work with.
Yes.
Have I? Yes. That's why I don't, because I've learned my lesson, okay? And I've done it more than once. And so I've learned my lesson. The second time it was just like, the first time was whatever, it had nothing to do with music, but I've fallen into the trap of, oh, it can work, it could be whatever. And yeah, maybe it can, but for me it didn't. And for me, I don't want to go back there, because to me the most important thing above all is my artistry, is my music, and I don't want to lose that, because heartbreak can sometimes delay you. It can kind of make you a little depressed, and you're like, oh, I don't want to do anything, I'm not worth it. But no, you know what I mean? Like, love is a very big thing, and it's an emotional thing, and it can hold you back, it can delay you for a little bit, and make you feel a certain type of way. And when you're working with someone and it works, and you have love, and then the love part doesn't hold up anymore, it's like, yo, we had something good and we worked so well, now I gotta find that somewhere else. I don't want anything to do with that.
Yeah, so you don't be mixing business with pleasure nowadays.
And he was like so persistent. I was like, yo, my man, I do not want to date you. It's not gonna happen.
Right?
And like, so a lot of men, like, I don't know, maybe they just can't take no for an answer. But I'm like, isn't that why you're a man? Like, you can accept rejection. Like, you're the one that asked. If the woman says no, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Just leave it be. Like, you're losing out on not working with me because you just want to get in my pants.
Literally.
You're not going to have it all when it comes to me. It's this is this and this is that and that's it.
Yeah. No, I really respect that. And that's definitely one of the reasons why you're able to be successful, because people know that you are about business. And and when you present yourself that way, people are going to take you more seriously.
Right.
And
exactly.
if they don't, you'll burn that bridge, right?
Right.
They
burned it themselves. Because
that's the thing.
Right. They burned it themselves because when you see me continuing and you're still where you are, it's like, man, I should have hopped on that train. So it is what it is. Like, it's not my loss, it's your loss.
100%. No, I freaking love that. Yo, that is such a good clip that's going up on my Instagram. No, see, that's why I needed to have you here, because you have a lot to teach, for real. And you lead by
I definitely
example.
have a lot of experience. It's been pretty wild.
Well, I can tell now, speaking of your previous experience, that you've been performing, like you've been performing steadily. I always like to ask, because show days, they can be so hectic, right? Like
Monday killed me. Yo, I was out for 2 days straight.
Me
I was like, yo, what did I do? What did I do?
It takes so, because we give it our fucking all, right?
Oh my God, I was out.
We give it our all. But what has been one of your craziest show day stories? Has there ever been a show day where it's just like, oh, fucking shit? I know I have some. I could share mine if you want me to loosen things up or no.
Go ahead.
Okay, so one time I was performing and I didn't have, my aux cord wasn't working. And so I had to order one to the venue. That's my shittiest. So I don't know.
Like Instacarted it, like some type of thing.
That shit, bitch. To the gig.
Thank God for that, though, right?
I mean,
people are like technology, and I'm like, no, you have no idea.
No, that saved my ass.
Yeah.
But so has there been any like crazy gig stories where shit was just not going right and you had to just keep going anyway?
Okay. I did a little mini tour along the east side, and I was in Washington, D.C., and I got to the venue, and it was a little sketchy, just like the people in general, right? It was a little sketchy, and these people just took my dressing room.
What?
Without, like, knowing that it was theirs, just because it was right next to the stage. It had my name on it. It was like, I had been doing like this for a while, and so they really loved me. They loved my show. They loved my performance, so they gave me the room right next to the stage. And we had to wait like an hour before I got in. Like, I needed to get ready. I had my dancers with me. I had my producer, my boyfriend at the time. My dog was sick. She was dying at the time. And,
What?
you know, I took her with me to Washington. She had a seizure the night before.
No.
And we're like practicing. Yeah, I was not okay. Yo, I downed like a thing of Hennessy.
Yo, I would too.
After that show, and I had to do a change in the middle of the show. So in the middle of my show, I walk into the dressing room. Me and my man were like kind of not good at this moment, right? This is the working with, you know, dating the work guy. And I go into the dressing room, and he's standing there, and like my clothes are laid out, everything's there, and he's just like talking to two people. Why are they in the room? I had no idea who they were. Why are they in there? What? And he's just chilling, talking. I'm like, let's go. You gotta change me. And we had to kick the people out
in the middle of the show.
In the middle of the show, and like literally, like I only had like 40 seconds. Like when I tell you the amount of times that I timed myself to like take my clothes off and like put an outfit on and everything like that, I was sweating. When I tell you sweating, because you're on stage, you're dancing, you're moving.
Lights. You're fucking...
Exactly.
And when Danielle performs, it's no joke. She literally, it's so impressive that you're able to maintain with those fast, full phrases, singing and rapping. And
I have no idea how I do it either. I have no idea. I have no idea.
It's really a sight
I don't
to
even
see.
prepare for it.
That is, but you have, just from naturally doing it so much, you've definitely built up.
I've been working on where to breathe.
That is a big thing.
And that's why, like, I have body dysmorphia. I've had it, like, my whole entire life, okay? It's a real thing, and, you know, actually one of my singing coaches pointed it out to me, and he asked me, and I replied, I was like, no, I don't have that, and then I was like, no, I do. And so I'm like, that's why I wear sometimes loose clothing now when I'm on stage, like, because I need to breathe. You know, I would love to wear something sexy and whatever, and I'll work my way up there. I've done it before, but I noticed the difference of my performance when I'm wearing sexier clothes to wearing loose clothes. And when I'm wearing loose clothes, I'm breathing, I'm moving around more, I'm more confident in what I'm projecting.
That is really, really interesting, and I'm definitely going to experiment with that. And just so you know, when you showed up to the show, I thought you looked amazing, but I also was like, hell yeah, that's really fucking cool. Like, I liked that you weren't in a tight fitted dress. I'm like, hell yeah, and you still had your swag, like your glow up sneakers, but I was just like, fuck yeah, I thought you looked great. Like,
thank you.
And I was just like, fuck yeah, and it made me feel like, oh, I can do that now. That's why we need more women not being afraid to be themselves, because it really makes other women feel like, I can be more myself too.
Yeah, I wanted to be, you know, I love to be just chill. Like, I was like, oh, what am I going to wear? And I was just like, well, it's going to be me and Babs. Like,
I love when you call me that.
And I'm the only one that could call her that. I would swear to God, no, don't even try it. That's my name. I got it stored in my phone. I was the first one. Goodbye.
Hell yeah.
So, you know, I literally just feel like whatever brings the best out on stage and how it makes people feel, I rather that than for a picture or just, you know, because I'm sexy all the time. And I want to wear dope ass outfits like I did before, but I noticed it still was, and it is what it is. I mean, I just want to be comfortable. And right now, like, I love my shape. I love my body. But for me, my insecurity is I'm not tight and toned for me. Yeah. I'm a little loose. So for me, it's like if I want to wear that tight or I want to wear that crop top, I got to feel confident in it because I am jumping around. I am moving around. I got to breathe. My stomach can't be sucked in and my posture perfect. It's just got to be loose and free. So my performance is more important than the way I look. And
that's what I was just about to say, is that it returns it to what the whole performance is about.
Yes. Like, you know, I was like,
cheers to that, bitch.
I was like, you know, when I got on stage, listen, my music's going to be high vibe, and understand that some people are going to be too shy. They're going to want to get up out of their seats. They're going to want to, but if nobody else is doing it, they may be shy and they're not going to do it. So I was just like, you know what? Everybody's going to get up.
I was about to ask you about this. Yeah. Because it takes a certain kind of performer, a certain kind of person with a certain kind of attitude and energy to have that confidence to do it and say, everyone get up on your feet. I'm just like, where does that come from?
Because as a performer, as an artist, the person in control of the room is the one with the mic. You control the energy, the vibe, and what you want out of it. They want to see something from you. They're expecting something from you. But I'm expecting something from my audience, and they don't know me. They don't know me. They don't know me. They don't know what I'm about to do. So I want to make it known from the beginning, no, you're going to like this. Like, one of the guys, I was at the bar getting a drink before I went on, and some guy came up to me, and he's like, you know, he's just trying to mack it to me a little bit, and I was like, here we go. So, but all good.
Yeah,
very adorable, and I give everyone the respect. I'm not a mean girl.
No.
So he's like, you know, I was going to leave, but should I stay? You know, are you performing? Like, are you going to put your sneakers back on? Because, you know, they were like, well, shiny. And I was like, yeah, I'm performing. Yeah, I'm going to put my sneakers back on. He goes, should I stay? And I was like, yeah, and if you don't, you're gonna miss a dope ass performance.
Like what?
Like you gotta stay. I was like, I'm telling you right now, you're not gonna regret it. I was like, so I went inside or whatever. I got up on stage, and you have to take control. Listen, guys, this is gonna be high vibing. I'm not gonna stand up here, like I said, on this stage, jumping around like a freaking hyena while y'all are just sitting down staring at me. I'm not doing it. Like, I want. Not only are you gonna feel the vibe, but I want to feel the vibe.
I fucking love that.
And so I created the energy that I wanted, not what anyone else expected or thought. I changed their mindset without them even knowing it. So I just had them all get up, and as soon as that thing started, they were like jumping and
100%,
moving, and they
100%.
were filming, and it was just a great set, and it was a great vibe.
When you say that, I mean, do you have some nerves when you're on stage? Some or no?
Sometimes.
But for the most part, you feel like I'm just ready to fucking do this shit.
Yes, I get so freaking antsy. I'm like, I just want to get it over with. Like, I'm ready. I want to go now.
Interesting.
You know, but there is always a little bit of nervousness, you know. Obviously, you want to remember your words, and also it is high vibing. I have to remind myself, don't go too crazy, breathe.
Stay
you know,
balanced in that
that's
moment.
the nervousness of reminding myself to be in control when I'm on stage, because sometimes it can also feel like, because of the energy of the music, it can almost feel like you're in a club.
You can get swept
And
away.
you could get swept away within
Yeah.
your own thing. And you know
Yeah.
what? I'm rapping and singing, and there's no background vocals. So
Yeah.
if I mess up, you're gonna hear it. You know what I mean? And so, you know, it's also, you have a few drinks in you don't want to forget your lyrics. And I don't know if you notice, I mean, I go to the bathroom every like freaking 2 seconds.
Stay hydrated.
But the thing is that I go to the bathroom too to remind myself the first line of every song. Because I'm like, if I can't remember the first line of the song right now, then I freak myself out. I give myself anxiety. So I'm like, yo, I need to like refresh myself and remind myself like where the song starts. And then from there, like, it just comes naturally.
Yeah. No, there's so much going on in a performer's head right before they take that stage, but people will never know because you're really so calm, cool, and collected. But I just wanted to say that that's one of the things that I really admire about you, is your ability to take control confidently without any kind of doubt or question, just making the moment yours. It's something that I definitely have to work on, something I really admire. So I just wanted to let you know that, like,
Thank
for
you.
real, it's a sight to see.
Thank you.
So I also wanted to ask you some questions, because obviously I really admire your career, and everything you do is super professional, and it looks really expensive. And so just as someone starting off...
Thank you.
No, it does.
Because I keep telling my mother, I'm like, Ma, I spent so much money over the past 15 years. I want it back.
Yeah.
I want more than what I paid, but I just want it back.
Because I have definitely, and I know probably a lot of people have, we've gone to great lengths to fund to make our visions come true. We to grab our credit cards and this and that.
Credit cards, sold
Yeah.
many things.
Wow, it's incredible.
Like, I'm not afraid to say that I was in, you know, a moment in time where I'm like, someone wants a bottle of pills, I know where to get it and make a few bucks. Someone wants this, I know where to get it and make a few bucks. It was a short-lived moment,
Yeah.
but you will do what you have to do to make something happen if you need it right then and there. And it's about like trying to figure it out. And you know, listen, I'm not afraid to say it. I've been there, I've done that, and it is what it is.
That's what it takes, it seems. You have to be willing to spend money on yourself, right?
Yeah.
You have to be willing to
Exhaust your funds, you know. Listen, there were times where I had to choose advertising, or, you know, having someone run my Instagram, or pay my assistant at the time, who was one of my best friends, who was phenomenal. And she, you know, I would pay her instead of like buying food at the supermarket.
Wow.
That we would go on showcases, and we'd be the bartenders would be giving us bags of like cheese puffs that they had on the bar because I didn't have any food at home. I mean, those are like real life moments. It wasn't
100%.
always like that. It wasn't a consistent thing, but there were moments where I had to pick and choose.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that. They're like, no, I gotta eat, and I'm like, no, you don't. You could fast for a few days.
Wow. And it's like, it really does show your dedication to it and what you're willing to put in.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, just from the outside, it looks like it has all been returned to you. You have a very successful career and a lot of credentials, so
Yeah,
you
I've
have to be
definitely
willing
built
to
a
spend money
portfolio.
on yourself. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Strong
Yeah.
portfolio.
Yeah,
But
people are like, you know, I didn't go on vacation for 7 years until this past February. I went, and it was only because my boyfriend took me. because I had to pick and choose. Like, people were saving at the time for like their family, their houses, vacations, and things like that. And I was saving for the next music video, for this, for that. And it's like, people will look at me, and I know that what they're thinking in their heads, like, oh, she doesn't have anything. I'm like, no, I have an EPK. I have a portfolio. I've built something. I don't need a house to make me happy. I want my career. I want to be happy, and I love what I do, and I want to succeed in it, and I also want to make something from it. That's all going to come. Those vacations, those homes, those cars, those whatever are going to come. But I don't really care about having a new bag or having this. And I don't buy no fake nothing just so I can look like I have it. I'm not a fake person. I don't care about any of that. That's not important to me. It's important to me for when I meet somebody, I meet a producer, they're like, all right, so what have you done? Here you go.
Literally. No, you are definitely well established. But that takes time, right?
It does take time. It takes money. It takes time. And you just got to take the opportunities and take advantage of what's in your vortex at the time. You know what I mean? Like, me and my father had multiple fights, about money and things that I was doing, whatever. I'm like that. Yeah. I let go of every relationship. I didn't get married. I'm not having kids. I'm not allowing anything to hold me back. Like, I'm working. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I grew up like a princess, old school Italian. Like, you don't need to do anything. Just cook, clean, go to work, go to school, do what you got to do, and eventually, whatever. Maybe you get married, maybe you become a mother, maybe you whatever. I mean, he never forced any of that on me, but it was always very much like, I got you, so just, you have the opportunity to just do what you need to do. But still, there was many things, because they don't understand what goes on. They support you in a certain way, but the support that an artist really needs is emotional. It's when we feel a certain way, how people treat us, instead of being like, well, that's because this and that's because that, instead of being like, no, babe, don't worry about it. You know how much you've done so far? Like, keep going. We got you. And that's really what... It's not, and it's like, well, you know what, Danielle, tell me what you need. Maybe I can help you, or maybe we can find somebody that can help you. I see that you're very stressed out. I see that you're very down. I see, how can we, what is it that you think you need? It's like not trying to figure it, they're not trying to help you figure it out. They're just criticizing you, and they're like, well, I did my part. And I told you, I did what I needed to do. And you know what? Yes. But we need more.
No, I mean, you really hit it on the head. I mean, that's the truth. I mean, artists, everyone needs to be supported, but an artist is a special archetype of a person. And
we're emotional, and that's why we're so creative, because we
have to get it out. We can't fucking hold it in anymore. We're insane.
My biggest depressions were sitting at a desk. I could not. I was like, it's just not, I would say to my boss, please give me something to do. Do you want me to paint the windows? Do you want me to create a board? Give me chalk. Create something on the chalkboard. And eventually they would start giving me these things to do, and they'd be like, oh wow, let's do more. And I'm like, yes, keep going, because I can't sit still.
Yeah, no, it's like, that's why I love meeting like-minded individuals, because we feel like we can't do anything else, right? It's the same feeling, and that's how you know it's meant for you. It's like, yes. What else am I gonna fucking do? I can't live. I can't be who I am.
I can't process it.
Yeah, it's just not. It's another type of way of being that.
Yeah,
and it's a sign of a true artist. That shit, I literally can't even fucking do anything else. This is all I can do.
Right, exactly. Like, my father's girlfriend, made a comment to me one time. Is like, oh, you need benefits. Oh, you need this. You need that. And I'm like, but I do have medical, and I'm okay, and I'm young, and I have a 401k from my other jobs, and who are you to tell me? I mean, the woman literally told me, you should think, when you wake up in the morning, you should think that you just might not make it. What? Who says that to somebody? I looked at her and I was like, what? I'm so sorry. I was like, but you should never, ever tell someone that ever. I can't believe that you just said that to me, because who would tell somebody that? That is so negative. And this was right before, this is when I just started putting music out. And literally 2 months later, I was on the radio. because that's how
I have
God
to
works.
ask you about that. How did you get on the radio? Because that's something that a lot of artists, that's the hardest thing for a lot of artists. How was your journey getting on the radio?
Honestly, it was God sent. It is about knowing people, but it's also about, like I said, putting one foot in front of the other and doing the work, so that way you are in a position where the universe can give back to you.
Did you submit to a radio station
Nope,
or no?
nope. So I was supposed to go to a performance down in the city. My girlfriend came to pick me up, and she's driving me down to the city, and I get an email as we're in the car, and they canceled.
What?
Yes. So I was like, oh shit, they canceled the performance. So we turned around, and I was like, listen, I want to take you out for your birthday because I didn't get a chance to take you out. Let's go out and get something to eat. I was dressed, like, you know, I was like, whatever, let's just go out, have a meal, have a drink. So we went to this place called the Lobster House, and it's in City Island. And
City
so we
Island,
go, and Jojo, the owner, I love him, he's so adorable. And we go, and he knew my friend because he didn't know my friend, but he knew my friend's parents. So she was like, my family, blah, 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 blah. So he goes, he's like, what are you guys doing? So we told him what happened, and he goes, I know Funk Master Flex. He goes, I'm going to call him right now. So he calls him, he puts him on the phone with me.
What?
And I was like, I told him who I was. So a few weeks later, I left it alone. I just think I do not push nothing.
Yeah.
I'm like, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, whatever.
Yeah.
A few weeks later, I'm getting ready to go to boxing class. In my DM, Funk Master Flex hits me up and goes, I'm going to play your song tonight, What You Want, on the radio.
Love that song,
And
by the way.
I have a story about that. And I go, what?
No.
So I didn't even stop. I still went to boxing class, right? And you're not supposed to have your phone like on the where you're boxing, right, in the class. And I turned to the instructor. I said, listen to me. I'm keeping my phone here.
No.
I called my assistant. I said, go to the liquor store. I have money for you. I'll go to the liquor store, get me a bottle of Hennessy. Go to the Chinese store, get whatever you want. Get whatever you want at the liquor store, whatever you want. I'm going to pay you, just meet me in an hour. We're going to be on the radio. So she did that. I came home. I was on the radio. Then he winded up playing another song. And for 6 months, I was in rotation. He played Black Diamonds from my second EP. So I put out an EP in that December. Then 6 months later, I put out the Black Diamond Project. 2 months later, I have 2 songs, one from each EP on the radio. Okay?
Incredible.
And so the thing about What You Want was Lee had sent me a beat, and he goes, this is from a musical Chefy beat, write a recipe to this. And I was like, no, this isn't a Chefy beat, this is the Danielle Black beat. Oh. So I was like, all right, I was waitressing, and I took my notepad and I'm listening to the beat because I had time, and I wrote the whole song on a notepad. I still have the papers. Uh-huh. So I wrote the whole entire song. I went and recorded it, and I said, Lee, I'm telling you right now, this is a radio hit song. I'm telling you, this is a great song.
I literally have shivers all over my back. I'm not even fucking joking.
I was like, I knew, when you know. When it comes easy, when the words just flow to you and it works, it means something.
Yeah.
So, and it did. I called up Lee. I was like, Lee, I told you.
I know he was happy.
I told you. He's like, what? No way.
That's fucking incredible.
Yeah. And that's how I, started to gain even more traction.
And it's so funny. It's like, probably made it even that much more sweeter after.
Well, it made people
girlfriend.
really want to, right.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, but it's also people always, it's like, they think it's just kind of what you said earlier. It's like you're either Rihanna or there's no fucking chance. It's like, there's a whole spectrum of the music industry, and you can, see?
Well, that's why I say, take constructive criticism from people who understand and know about what you're doing, not people who don't, because in the same conversation, she asked me, well, what is it that you're doing that is going to help you? And I'm like, well, I'm trying to figure out Instagram, and I'm trying to figure out Facebook, and I'm trying to figure out social media, because at that time, this was all new up and coming, and, trying to use it for your advantage, because as an artist, you're developing and you're writing and you're, you know, releasing and you're trying to pick your image and you're trying to do photo shoots and you're trying to do music videos and there's so much going on that the business side doesn't come till a little bit after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like now I'm taking the time to do X, Y, and Z. And she was like, what's that? Like she had no idea what social media was. And so I was like, this is why I can't have this conversation with you because you have no understanding and you're not even open enough to be like, okay.
And it's just like what she said earlier. It's just like it's just no way to live too. To wake up and tell yourself, well, there's a chance that it's not going to go good. What kind of just attitude on life is that?
That eventually will come if you get to a point where you're like, okay, everything that I've done, I've exhausted everything. It's not working. You know what I mean? Like you yourself have to decide and be okay with that and understand where you are in life to make that decision. But when someone is like saying that to you, like that's just it's just negative.
Yeah, it's literally just simply negative, and I don't know if they just aren't aware of that or they're just putting on.
No, they're just miserable people and jealous people and you know, wanting you. They want a certain position and they're also scared of the position that you play. And sometimes people see the blessing on you. I'm not a lucky person. I don't consider myself a lucky person. I'm a blessed person. So I get blessed in ways that are like people. That's why people hate on me because they see some sort of light, they see some sort of, you know, God presence that is placed on me because I am a believer. I'm not the best follower, I'm not, you know, whatever, but I do have a belief in me and I do have a guiding light in me that people see, and that's what people are afraid of, and that's what people don't understand, and they hate on the light that they see.
So, and that's honestly what it is most of the time when people are being rude or have something to say, but it's just like, how immature.
Yeah, and you know, it's also downplayed. Like, you know, anyone at that time would say, oh, the only reason why you know, are able to do anything is because of this person or, you know, my father or X, Y, and Z. And it's like, yeah, you're right. They are part of the process.
Well,
they're part of the reason why I'm blessed enough to be able to do the things that I do, but it's also because I work my ass off.
That's
it's also because you don't know what I do to get there.
Yeah.
They play a certain part. They're part of the foundation. But what I've built, that's me.
What would people be surprised that you have to do as an independent artist to keep things going? Like what side jobs, like for example, like having to run social media, that's like a huge thing that's not directly tied to your music that you have to do.
I think people think that you just write a song, record it, release it, and that's it. And they think that, you know, oh, well, if no one's playing it, and it's like, no, it's because it's not actually being heard. There's just so much out there, and it gets lost. So you have to promote it. You have to do this. You have to do that. You need, you know, sometimes the funds to back it up. But also there's a lot of things like people don't understand, like when you release a song, the coding that needs to go along with it, the meta tagging that needs to go along with it, the creating the cover that needs to go along with it, the creativeness behind it. There's just so much. Adding it to the website. You know what I mean? Like, you got to spend all this time. Then, you know, filling out a copyrights form. Then doing, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many steps.
Yes, just
keeping on top of your emails, you know, and it's, I do 20 jobs.
Yeah.
And I'm one person. I should only be doing maybe 1 to 3 jobs, but I'm doing all of them. And there was a time in my life where I didn't have to do every single thing. I had an assistant that could go on Craigslist and find dances and do this and create choreography and whatever. Yeah. I had the help. I had the team. And then it fizzled out. You know what I mean? Everybody kind of went their separate ways and COVID hit and whatever.
That was a big
It destroyed everything.
It was a big thing.
Yeah, for everybody, for all walks of life, for all different reasons.
100%.
It put a hold on many things.
Yeah.
You know.
Let me just. I wanna pour you.
Yeah.
Just some
I could have done it.
I got you, girl.
Thank you.
And I got just a couple more questions to ask you because you're literally dropping just gold here, like I swear. No, I swear there's going to be so many clippable moments. And just, like, to get to know more about you has been, like, really beautiful.
Thank you.
So can I ask about your full name, your full real name? Can you say it?
Yeah, Danielle Anton. That's the rosé. There you go. There you go. You should have never poured me that glass. I
Second
swear.
glass.
Danielle Antonietta Negro. And that's how you say it in Italian.
That's what I was gonna, and it's Italian, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wanted to ask because for me it was like when I started putting out music, like, oh, should I go the name my mom gave me? Does that encompass who I am?
I'm so glad you asked me this.
Yeah, can I ask about what made that decision to go with that name?
Okay, so when I first started, people would call me Dan, and because my initials are D-A-N, I would do D.A.N, and you know, Dan, I had a hat made with the initials or whatever, and that's like, but you know, when you choose a name, you have to connect with it. You have to vibe. You have to be confident, and when you introduce yourself and X, Y, and Z, right? It's not just a name. It's who you are. You know, you have to encompass that name. You know, it's your brand. So yeah, it's business. So then I had a teacher. It wasn't working for me. I was like, I'm not vibing with it. Yeah. Then I had Marilyn Pierce. So my first singing coach, her last name was Pierce. So I was like, I was a huge Marilyn Monroe fan. So I was like, I think I'm gonna do Marilyn Pierce. So she had me spell it a little differently, and that's what I was doing. It worked for like not even like a minute. When people asked me who I was and I said the name, it just didn't click for me. So I was at a family barbecue and my cousin's birthday, and I'm sitting with my brother, and we're sitting at the table, and you know, I used to have this friend. My sister gave him the name of Kimmy Gibbler, right? Do you remember Kimmy Gibbler from Full House? Okay. So he would walk, like he lived on the opposite side from me, right? On the opposite block, on the other side, and I could see his house from like my window. So he would walk around the block, and he'd open the door, and he'd be like, "Yo, what up, Negro? You up? You want to smoke a blunt?" And I'm like getting out of bed. It's like 11 a.m.
What
and
a
I'm like, yo, yeah, and I'm like, yo, so whatever. So like that was my nickname to many people. It was just funny because like I'm a white girl, and like people are like, you know, how you say your last name? I'm like Nigro. In English it's Nigro. In Italian it's Negro. Yeah. So like, you know, I have people like making fun of me or whatever. It is what it is. I don't give a shit.
With the tongue roll on the R, right?
Right. So my brother goes, I made a list. I was like, what do I call myself? Like, I don't know. And nothing is clicking. He goes, yo, Danielle, why don't you just call yourself Danielle Black?
Wait,
and
who said that? Who said
my
that?
brother. And I
That's
was like,
what the brother's for.
I was like, oh my God, that's it. I was like, yo, it clicked so well that it was there from that. I was like, yo, I'm Danielle Black. I'm DB.
Yo, and the DB, it looks so fucking good.
Right?
Yeah. Wait, so you have a big family? You have one brother, or?
I'm the oldest, and I have a sister, and I have a little brother.
Oh,
But I look the youngest.
Yeah, you bet.
I'm better.
Hell yeah. No, you do, but that is it's so amazing. Like,
yeah.
That
so I was like, you know what? And so when people ask me those questions, then I'm like, yo, it is what it is. Like, someone's always gonna have a comment about my name. Someone's always gonna say something. So let me just do it for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it is what it is. And I'm like, I'm looking up my last name in many different languages, and it means black.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that just makes so much sense to me.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
No, I think it's like, it's cool to have like an alias and an artist name, but it's a name that it sounds like it could be like someone's like real name. But
right.
It's just like, and it's very memorable too. No one's gonna have a problem remembering that name too. So it's a good business decision, and the name like itself is like, people will always remember that.
Right.
Yeah. And you had 3 names too.
Right.
So.
And the first 2 were very short-lived. It was just, you know.
No, but I mean like your full name.
Oh,
you have 3 names. So having a longer name, shortening it.
Yeah, you know, it was so funny because when I did my first performance show, not first performance, but I did this performance thing, and my grandmother looks at my name and she goes, but why are you saying your name is Danielle Black? Who doesn't know your name? And I go, no, Noni, that's my stage name. She goes, but why? Your name is Daniela Negro. Why are you using this name? And I'm like, Noni, I love you, but you ain't ever gonna understand. And I'm like,
she felt kind of like, you betrayed your culture.
Everyone's always gonna mess it up. Everyone's always gonna say it wrong. To everybody, it gives people such anxiety. Even doctors' offices, they'll ask me, how do you say it? Because they don't want to say it wrong. And I'm like, it's all good.
Yeah.
Just say it how you want to say it. But it's negro in English.
Yeah.
In Italian, it's negro.
Yeah. No, but that is such a crazy story, yo.
Yeah.
Family, and yo, I just love that your brother, like, he helped you with that. Just,
Right.
Like, that's so special.
You know, he gets all the credit. He gets all the credit when it comes to that. My brother was always very supportive and, like, literally listened to a lot. He's like, yo, these lyrics are, like, ridiculous.
No, you better turn on some Danielle Black in the car. No, she will literally have you bumping. No, I'm serious. I love listening to music, and I can't believe that's why I like doing this too, because like I didn't follow you on Spotify before. I'm like, how could I not even be following you? That's why
because we're so involved in our own stuff that it's very hard. It's very hard to support and be there for other artists, because it's not that I don't want to.
100%.
It's not that I can't. I don't even listen to a lot of the new mainstream artists.
I feel that.
If you ask me, like, who's the newest hip hop, I don't freaking know right now. I'd have to Google it and be like, oh yeah, I know that song. I know who that is, because I have to be reminded, because I'm focused on my own lane.
Yeah.
I probably listen to music that I've been listening to for the past 10 years still, because I'm not there.
Yeah.
I'm doing business. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Whatever's playing is playing.
Hell yeah, I love that. No, artists, we could be. It's hard to keep up with the latest stuff because we're working on our own fucking tracks right now.
Yeah, I mean, but I went on to Spotify just to find a few of the artists that played on Monday. Yeah. And I couldn't find it. No. And I was like, wait a minute.
No.
Wait a minute.
That's a missed opportunity.
And I was like, why? I typed it in different ways. No. And I was like, well, I want this song. Why can't I get it?
So that's why we need you here, because so artists right now, Google yourself and make sure that people can find you, right?
They took my music down off of Spotify because of some fake streaming. And I was like, yo, I never did no fake streaming. Like, I swear to God, I never did no fake streaming. And I was like, I thought it was because one of my videos went to 4.2 million views.
That's amazing.
And I was like, maybe people were going on and playing my music, playing one song so much that they took it down. And I was like, no. And then I had to call, and they were like, no, they took it down because of it. I was like, I didn't do no promotion. I was like, this is weird. I was like, I don't care what the issue is. I need my album back up.
What happened?
So I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is that whatever. But like, yes, as an artist, you may think that you did it, whatever, and it goes, and it's there. You trusting the robots of the universe and the whole social media platforms that it's going to be there. No, you have to go and double check.
Yeah.
And you have to make sure that when you click on a link, it goes right to you where you want to lead people.
Remind me.
That's the whole business side of it. So
it is.
When you want to know what I do on the side, I'm double checking where my stuff is popping up.
No, you have an amazing presence online, y'all. You come up right away. So, but just for other artists out there, because damn, and see, people want to find your music. There's going to be someone who wants to support you. And so seriously, like, literally, if you're watching this right now, you need to pause and actually go handle that business.
Right.
Go handle that business.
And I guess SoundCloud. You need SoundCloud. But the thing is that you got to also put it everywhere else.
Yeah,
you want to be everywhere.
I agree. And
I don't care that it's free.
Yeah.
Or whatever. You have to pay for SoundCloud in some aspect.
Yeah.
But you got to spend the money to have your music out there, or else what are you doing it for?
I agree, and it's you're not gonna be rich unless you're making millions and millions of streams on it. But that's not why you put it on there. You're gonna make some money, but you have it on there so people have access to you. Isn't that why you want your music to be heard? It's not just about making the cent. It's about having your music be heard and having someone be affected by that.
Yeah,
Because,
unless it's just a hobby, it's something that
Yeah,
you
oh,
love.
yeah.
But if you're sitting here wondering why you're not going anywhere, well, because you're not adding the business aspect to it.
100%.
You're not adding marketing and branding. It's
No,
just,
I'm so glad we addressed that.
Yeah.
For real, for real. Can I ask you about a little bit of a touchy subject
yes.
that it's people have so many opinions about? How do you feel about pay-to-play performances?
Paid to play?
Yeah, if you have to secure your spot with money, would you be open to that? Do you think that can be beneficial, or do you draw a line there?
I used to do it in the past. Now I don't really do it, only because it just depends.
You gotta weigh the options.
If I have to weigh the options. If it's like, hey, you gotta pay $150 to perform. Well, how many people am I performing in front of?
Yeah.
Because then that to me is like it's an advertising fee.
Ah.
You know what I mean? You're paying to advertise by you going out on stage and people hearing you, people actually physically seeing you, catching your vibe.
That's how you might.
And
Yeah,
following
you're the
you.
advertisement.
That's basically your advertising. So yeah, I'll pay $150 to do a show if it's in front of a few thousand people.
Respect.
If it's $150 and it's gonna be 20 to 50 people, no. I don't want to be a part of it.
I never viewed it like that, but that is a really good way of looking at it, because major companies that are like literally running the world, that make the like top 1% of people, they're spending money on advertising. So we have to replicate what successful people are doing. And
Yeah.
so when you look at it like that,
I mean,
damn,
this is a business
it like that.
Right, and this is the business that you do have to pay a lot to be in. So a lot does come out of pocket. But like I say, if you want someone to invest in you, people only invest in you if you've invested in yourself. So, you can't assume or expect anyone to invest in you because you believe that you're a great artist. You believe that you got it. You believe that whatever you make great music. There's millions of people that make great music, that make a lot of great things, art and everything. It's just about how much you're going to put into it. And so you really do have to weigh your options and know your worth, because listen, when Beyonce came out with that country album, they were paying country stations millions of dollars just for them to play. Now you're going to ask the question, why the hell, it's Beyonce, why the hell would she have to pay? I did not know that. That's why the hell would she have to pay? And hey, it may be wrong, it may be just the internet speaking for itself and whatever, but I understand why, if she did, why that needs to happen, because radio stations are not going to sit here and play a Beyonce track and then it fails and then they're part of that traction. So it would make sense that she's going to a little bit of an opposite direction. They don't know how it's going to pan out. It doesn't matter that she's Beyonce.
Yeah. One day you win, one day you out.
Exactly.
You have to maintain yourself.
I mean, Justin Timberlake when he came out with his last album, it flopped.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? That's Justin Timberlake. Like, how the hell did that happen?
And then really kind of evens the playing field. It's like,
it makes you literally, as artists, other people don't see that or hear that or think of it that way. But as artists, we're like, damn, like you could be anybody. It doesn't matter. It just may not work. People just may not like it. And you hit a little bit of a low.
It just matters that you keep making music, I guess.
You just
like,
keep
like
going.
You said,
not
like
everything.
You said, don't be afraid to fail, because there will inevitably be failures. Not every track is gonna. But that's not why you make the music either.
No, I mean, I've done promotion, marketing, and branding, and I had them promote, X, Y, and Z amount of songs, and people liked songs that I was like, what? That's their favorite song? That's the song that's getting the most traction? It blew my mind. Because it might be a great song to me, and I'm like, oh, this is great. Like, people are going to love this, and people are like, eh. And I'm like, what?
Was there any pattern in the songs that you thought people would like versus what hit? Were they tending to be more simpler songs lyrically, or?
It was more of like a mellow vibe, and like, I was like, wow.
Okay, cool. Just
curious. And then other songs, why they got some traction or whatever, because there was a lot of sex appeal to it. And so you could see that men were just like diving deep for this song because there was visual to it and whatever. And you're like, all right, if it's more men, then you know what the song is bringing to the table. It's not the song, it's me. Sexually. You know what I mean? So you're like, okay, gotta change this up or whatever because, you know, it is what it is. I mean, sex sells.
I mean, it does.
Yeah.
It does. And I love your songs. Like, they make me feel good about myself
Oh.
when I'm listening to them. Like, for real. Like, I think, like, it's good. There's always a point, like, you know, you don't want to misrepresent yourself, but I love watching a woman, like, take control. And it's like, all these dudes out here talking about all that. So I love to hear a woman just talk her shit about the same thing. It shouldn't be no different.
Right.
But I'm just really curious. Did you in school or in way back in like elementary school? Did they have music classes in your school?
Yeah, I would do like talent shows, but again, like, you know, I was in a position of my parents were getting divorced. You know, things went to the wayside. Papers weren't being signed.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
I wasn't preparing for these talent shows, and I had a backing track, and I wasn't confident, and I got made fun of, and things like that. And you know, it is what it is. I mean, you know,
people are so fucking
it is what it is. It didn't, you know, make me feel like I didn't want to continue or didn't want to whatever, you know, because I was a cheerleader. I was a captain of a cheerleader when I was in elementary school. I was an MVP softball player. I was a pitcher. Like anything that I've ever put my hands on or, you know, my head to, I succeeded, surpassed, you know, and I always went for the gold, not because I was determined to, just because I just did. And that winner inside me just came easily, but with a lot of hard work. I mean, I was always very persistent in just, you know, getting the job done. But yeah, I was in dance school. I was a cheerleader. I did, you know, little things. And then high school, it just kind of went away, and I would, you know, try to find out and ask, and, you know, I just wasn't being heard. And so I just like let it go until I started getting older, and I was just like, you know, everybody told me, oh, you're too old to do that. You need to be like 5 years old. And I'm like, no, you know, and that was kind of like, you know, shocking and, you know, it felt bad, you know, that I was just like, you know, are they right? You know, or do I have to prove them wrong or prove myself wrong? And so I was just very much persistent and constantly proving people wrong. That was my biggest motivation, was like, I'm going to do it because you said I couldn't.
Did you ever have a teacher that made you feel like you had to prove them wrong? Or was your experience with in the little classes in school and the lessons that you took, you had positive experiences? Or was there...
Yeah.
Because a teacher can have a great impact on you, positive and negative.
1,000%. Not necessarily, because I never really spoke to anyone about wanting to do like those things, like, you know, or really had a conversation about it. It was very much internal and just like kind of kept a secret, you know, other than like maybe a few family members.
Because I'm like really about like, oh, what makes people how they are, and like, it's, do you think because music classes in school are really important, do you think that it made a difference to have them, the music classes? Or was it not
school,
engaging enough?
Elementary school I didn't have music classes. No. In high school...
that sucks.
In high school they did. I remember my sister being in the choir and
That's good.
And playing an instrument. And I thought it was awesome, and I loved that she did that.
Did you ever join the choir?
But I didn't.
Why?
Which was so weird and odd. I think there was also a little bit of fear and scared, and just like, I just didn't do it. I don't know what it is. I don't really have an answer for that. I really don't have an answer for that. I don't know why I didn't do it. I don't know. I really don't know.
It's interesting. But that just goes to
show. And it wasn't even like, I'm surprised my mom didn't say to me like, oh, you know, your sister's doing this, why don't you do it? This is your lane. Like, this is what you've always wanted to do. Like, everybody's been telling you to put you in, you know, modeling and acting and all that, and, you know, you should be involved. I don't really remember anyone saying or doing that. And it always bothered me for a good while why my parents weren't more involved or like to push me to do certain things. I'm like, yo, none of you people would be even working right now. If I was, but who would have known? You know, who knows where I would have been if I did start off early.
And that's true too. That's true too. That's true too. But it also just goes to show like who you are in high school is not going to be the end all be all. Some kids, they can go into specialized school for music. They're going to be a lawyer.
Right.
So it's no marker of who anyone's going to be. It's just interesting because I thought maybe you would have been a choir girl because it makes sense.
Right.
But to know that you're not, it just shows like.
I always wanted to even tap into that because I'm like, I think vocally I would have been
annihilated.
Yeah.
Like 100.
Yeah.
You have such a distinct voice, even just talking.
Thank
and
you.
it's just something that at a certain point, like what I get from these is just like at a certain point, like people just are the way that they are, and it's in their fucking blood.
Right.
Like at a certain point.
Right. Well, it was funny because when we were at the showcase, I was talking to everyone who was with Jay Sam, and you know, I was like, why the hell did we choose this crazy life? And he just turned to me and he goes, you didn't choose it. It chose you. And I was like, you're right. I was like, you're 100% right. Like, I chose this when I was 5 years old. Like, I remember the day that I chose it. I remember why I chose it. And it was just like, this is what I want to do. And that's it.
It's such a special thing. And it feels so special because not everyone has that. Not everyone has that calling that they feel like this is what I'm supposed to do. So to have that, what I feel like is beginning to be a bond with you, that we both share that, and it's just an amazing thing to witness. I just want to ask you one more question. Mm-hmm. You've given us so much to study, to think about, so much to rewatch this and learn from. You dropped so many helpful tips, ways of living your life that helped me and so many people. I just want to give an open-ended question of any general advice and last words, especially for artists. What can we be doing better? What should we be doing? Any general advice?
The only general advice I can give to anybody is to literally never give up. I mean, no matter what life calls to you, family is always going to be involved. Significant others are always going to be involved. They're always going to make you feel like you have to prioritize and make them, you know, come first. And that's all good and dandy. And yes, in certain aspects, you have to put certain priorities first, but for the moment. Not necessarily that they have to be priority every single second of your life. It's about boundaries, and it's about creating ways to make it work. You have to find ways to make it work. Constantly problem solve, and constantly put yourself in a position where you're connecting with people and understand that, you know, the universe is going to work for you. You're going to be in certain situations where it's going to make it known. And the biggest thing that I tell people is that God is never going to tell other people what he tells you. So your ideas, your flow, your vibe, and where you see yourself and how you know you need to get there is only your calling. And if you have to constantly tell people and explain to people and get anxiety over having to explain to people why you do the things you do, where you're going, it's not worth it. Save your breath. Don't tell nobody. Just say, listen, I understand. I'm going to make it work, and you make it work. And that's it. If significant other is pushing you, no, will you come first? And da-da-da-da, yeah. But you know what are you teaching your kids if you're constantly putting other people first? It means that you mean nothing to yourself. Mm-hmm. And you have to mean something to yourself so you can teach others. It's important to pay attention to you. Not that you want to hurt other people, not that you're trying to be selfish. You're not being selfish. You're being true to who you are, and you're being true to what you're being called to do. And that's it.
Literally couldn't have said it better. Literally, thank you so much for being here. Please
You can find me everywhere.
Literally! Just Google her
This
name.
is all important in branding, keeping everything the same. I'm Danielle Black. Website, social media, that's it. It's I as in India, M as in Mary, Danielle Black, not I am. Because for some reason people mistake it when I say I'm. They take it as I am. So I'm Danielle Black everywhere. You can follow me, and Danielle Black everywhere on Spotify, iTunes, everywhere. So it's all the same.
And I'm gonna link it all down below. Danielle Black, thank you so much for being here.
you.
Another one done.